everyone, and welcome to the Plant Power Dancing Yogi. My name is Hannah, and today we will be working our way up to crow pose, or Bakasana, which is the Sanskrit term. This pose really works on your core and arm strength, so we will be warming those parts of our bodies up before we get to the actual pose. So I have a few flows or sequences that we're going to do before we get to the peak pose, crow. So you may need a couple blocks or perhaps a strap. You can also use a stack of books if you don't have a block, or you can use a towel or a belt instead of a strap. So grab what you need and meet me on your mat. So go ahead and find an easy seated position. You can sit with your shins stacked, one right in front of the other. And rest the palms of your hands on your knees. And I invite you to close your eyes. Start to tune into your breath. Focusing on what that feels like. The rise and the fall. With each inhale and exhale. With each inhale and exhale brings us deeper into a focused state. And today we're going to be using a mantra, so an affirmation that we're going to be repeating to ourselves throughout our practice. And our mantra today is going to be, on an inhale, we say, I am here. And on our exhales, we say, I am breathing. Now you can say these words out loud, or you can say them to yourself inside your head. Either is fine. So an inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am breathing. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am breathing. Take a few more rounds of this on your own. And on your last exhale, slowly open your eyes. We'll take a few simple neck stretches to get going. So drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Reach your right palm out to the side. Take a breath here. Slowly drop your head to the center and over to the right side, so the right ear is reaching towards the right shoulder. Left hand reaches out to the side. Take a breath here. Drop your head down to the center. Back over to the left, reaching your right hand out again. And back through the center, roll over to the right, reaching our left hand out. Back through center, over to the left, one more time. And down through center, over to the right. And then coming back up to neutral. We'll take a few seated cat-cows. So on an inhale, arch the back, expand the chest, gaze goes up to the sky. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the tailbone. Gaze goes towards the center. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, back to neutral. Raise our arms up to the sky. Exhale, take a side bend to the right, dropping our right arm down and our left arm reaching up on the diagonal. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the right. One more time. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the left. Now inhale up. Exhale, we'll take a spinal twist. Left hand to right knee, right hand right behind the spine. And then inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, take a twist. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, take a twist. Gazing over that right shoulder. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And come back to center. Inhale to top. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand to left knee. Left hand right behind the spine. Inhale for length. Exhale, twist, taking our gaze over our left shoulder if that feels comfortable. Inhale for length. Exhale, twist deeper. One last time. And inhale back up to center. Exhale, bring our hands back down to our heart. We'll bring our mind back to our mantra. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am breathing. Now we're going to flip over into a tabletop position. So hands right underneath shoulders, knees right underneath hips. We'll take a few cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze goes up. Exhale, arch the back. Round the spine, tuck the tailbone, gaze goes towards our center. Inhale. Arch the back, gaze goes up. Exhale, round the spine. Gaze goes toward the center. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to center. We'll raise our right arm up to the sky. And we'll thread it through underneath our left arm. You can leave your left palm where it is, or you can reach it out in front of you. Or if you would like, you can take it up to the sky and then wrap it around your back, maybe resting your fingertips or palm on your right thigh. Take an inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, release. Bring your palm back down to the mat. Lifting up, reaching our right arm up to the sky again, and resting it back down on the mat. Or feet on the other side. Lifting our left arm up, threading it underneath our right arm. Taking that position with your right hand as you did on the first side. Maybe reaching it up to the sky, or wrapping it around your back, placing your right palm on your left thigh. Take a breath here. And release the bind. Place your right palm down, lifting your left palm up to the sky, and back down to the mat. Now we're going to take puppy pose, one of my favorite poses. Walk your hands out in front of you to the end of your mat, and rest your chest down to the mat. Maybe your forehead comes down to the mat. And you can tent your fingertips. So lifting your palms off the floor and only your fingertips are touching. You'll get a deeper stretch along your lats and your triceps here. Inhale. Exhale. Release the palms back down onto the mat. Release the forearms back down. Walk the hands back in. Shifting your weight forward, lowering down through chaturanga. Bringing our forearms in front of us, placing them on the mat. Lifting our chest up and through our arms, coming into Sphinx pose. We'll take a few breaths here. Really stretching out the front side of our body. On an exhale, release, bringing our body up into tabletop, tucking our toes underneath, giving a few rocks just to warm up the underside of our feet. Coming back into tabletop position. Engage our core, lift our knees up. Hold this for just a second. And lift our hips back up into downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal out your feet here. Do whatever feels comfortable. Get all those crack-a-lackins out of your ankle joints and your toes. And lift up on both feet, onto our toes. Gaze forward, bend our knees. Hop, jump, forward. Coming into forward fold. Go ahead and have a slight bend in your knees here. Lift up halfway. Relax back down. Go ahead and bend the left knee, opening up the right side of your body. Reaching your right arm up to the sky. Take a breath here. Exhale, lower your hand back down to the mat. Lift up halfway again. And lower down. Bending our right knee. Reaching our left hand up to the sky. Relax that down. Coming up halfway. Release down into forward fold. Root down through your feet, coming up all the way. Reaching up to the sky, hands come through to heart center. Take a breath here. Inhale. I am here. Exhale. I am breathing. Reach your arms back up to the sky. Exhale, sit your hips back, reach your arms up over by your head next to your ears, sitting back into chair pose. Inhale, exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Take another inhale. Exhale, we'll twist to the right, looking our left elbow over our right knee, opening up our chest, twisting to the right, looking up to the sky if that feels comfortable with you. Take a breath here. Now shift your focus down to the mat, bringing your weight into your right leg, lifting up your left and shifting back into a high lunge. Extend your arms overhead. Then we'll take an awkward twist, opening up to the right. Inhale, back to center. Awkward twist, opening up to the left. Inhale, back to center. Awkward twist to the right again. This time, flip your front palm up, reaching up to the sky. Your right palm can rest on your back hamstring. Inhale here. Exhale. Rotate into warrior two. You may need to shift on your mat. Go ahead and scoot that front foot up if you need to. Really grounding through both legs. Your back foot is parallel to the back edge of your mat and your front toes are pointing forward. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, flip the right palm up, reaching up into extended warrior. Exhale, come back to center, coming into side angle. You can have your right arm resting on top of your right thigh. You can put a block down here if you need. Or if you want to take it behind, you can wrap your right arm underneath your right thigh and your left arm goes behind your back and your hands meet behind you. Take a few breaths here, really rooting down between both feet. Inhale, rise up into extended triangle pose, reaching up to the back. Both knees are straight. Exhale, reaching forward into extended triangle, shifting your hips back, reaching our right arm forward until we can't go anymore. And then we teeter-totter our arms down. And then again, you can lightly rest your right palm on your right shin or on a block right here, or it can reach towards the floor. And you can take your gaze down or to the center or up to the sky, whichever feels best for you. Take a few breaths here. Exhale. Shift down into a high lunge, bringing our left hand right next to our right foot, reaching our right palm up to the sky, and bringing it back down to our mat. Shifting forward onto our front leg, coming into forward fold once again. Take a breath here. On an inhale, root through our legs, bringing our body up into mountain pose. Bringing our hearts down to our hands down to our heart center. Take a breath here. Exhale, shift back into chair pose, arms coming up next to our ears. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, take a twist, hooking our right elbow over our left knee. Taking our gaze up towards the sky. Take a breath here. Now shift your focus down to your mat. Rooting through your left foot, picking up your right, and stepping back into a twisted high lunge. Take a breath here. Inhale, coming up into high crescent lunge. Arms reaching up to the sky. We'll take an inhale here. Exhale. Awkward twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Awkward twist opening up to the right. Inhale back to center. Awkward twist to the left. Flipping our front palm up to the sky. Reaching back into extended high lunge. Extended revolved high lunge. It's a mouthful. And on an exhale, shifting into warrior two. Again, grounding through both our front and our back feet. Really reaching our arms out to the sky, out to the side. Inhale, flip your front palm up. You're coming into extended warrior. Exhale, rotating down into extended side angle. And again, you can rest your left palm on your left thigh, or left. And again, you can rest your left forearm on your left thigh on a block right next to your foot on the ground, or you can take a bind, wrapping your arms around your back for your hands to meet behind. Inhale here. Exhale. Releasing the bind, straightening that front leg, reaching our palm up to the sky, coming into extended triangle. Inhale here. Exhale, come back to neutral. Shifting our hips back, reaching our left hand forward until we can't go anymore. Then we teeter-totter our arms down, resting your left palm on your shin on a block, or reaching your fingertips towards the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, windmill your right arm down to the mat. Your back foot shifts, reaching our left hand up to the sky. Inhale here. Exhale, bring it back down to the mat. Shifting forward onto that left foot, coming into forward fold once again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Now, you can step or jump back into plank position. You can take a chaturanga by lowering your knees first, squeezing and hugging your elbows into your side, lowering all the way down through to your chest. Or You can lift your knees up, shift your weight forward, and again, hugging your elbows into the sides, rolling all the way down, coming through into upward facing dog, and pressing back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Then we're going to lift our right leg up, keeping it parallel, flexing that back foot, curling it into our chest, into the center. We'll take a few kind of crunches here. So drop the knee down to the mat, just hovering, lift it back up, down, up, down, up. One more, down, up, shifting back into three-legged downward facing dog. Inhale here, exhale, curl. This time bringing your right knee to your left elbow, dropping it down, up, for 2, 1, and shifting back into three-legged downward dog. One more time, inhale here, exhale, this time, right knee to right elbow, dropping it down, up, down, up, down, up, shifting back into three-legged downward dog. Inhale here. Exhale, curl to center, stepping your right foot in between both hands, dropping your left knee down, reaching your arms up to the sky. Go ahead and cactus your arms, opening up your chest, reaching behind your back, clasping your hands for a bind. And again, opening up your chest here. Release that. Plant your hands down on the mat, shifting back into your left leg. And take a few rocks here, flexing and pointing your front foot. Take an inhale here. Exhale, release forward. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Shifting back into that right leg, planting your palms down, tucking your back toe, going up into a high lunge, lifting back into three-legged downward facing dog. This time you can turn out, open up that hip, go to bend that right knee, reaching it across your body, letting it fall open until you fall down. And we're going to lift up into Wild Thing pose. So lifting your hips. Your right knee is bent, your left knee is straight, reaching up to the sky, or bring your hand down. Take a breath here. Exhale, shifting back into three-legged downward facing dog. Bringing your right foot through, coming into fallen triangle. This time, both knees are straight, reaching our left palm up to the sky. Bringing it back down to the mat, planting through our left foot, reaching our right foot up to the sky, and bringing it back down to the mat into downward facing dog. Shifting forward into plank, lowering down through chaturanga, shifting into upward facing dog, and back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then inhale, lift your left leg up, parallel, curling it in, you already know what's coming. Dropping it down, up for 3, 2, 1, shift back into three-legged downward dog. And again, curl in, left knee to right elbow, down, up, 2, 1, shifting back. Inhale, exhale, curl in, left knee to left elbow, down, up, 3, 2, 1, shifting back. Inhale, exhale, curl forward, planting your left foot between both hands, dropping your right knee down, untucking your toes, reaching up to the sky, cactusing your arms like a goalpost, opening up our chest, clasping our hands behind our back, straightening our elbows as much as we can, Expanding our chest up to the sky. Release that. Shifting onto our back leg, straightening our front leg. Take a few rocks here. Flex your front foot. Inhale. Exhale, curl forward. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, curl forward. Inhale, shift back onto our front leg, planting our hands down, tucking our back foot. And shifting back into three-legged downward facing dog. Good. Open that hip now. Bend our left knee. Let it fall across our body until we come all the way down onto the floor. Hips touch the floor for just a moment. And then we press up into Wild Thing pose, one of my favorite poses. Take a breath here. Exhale, plant that left palm down onto the mat, rotating on our right ball of our foot, bringing our left foot through into falling triangle. Planting our right hand down onto the mat, shifting back into three-legged downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Plant that left foot down. Shifting into plank position, lowering down through chaturanga into upward facing dog. And this time, shift back into child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, I'm here. Exhale, I'm breathing. Now walk your hands back up, sitting on your heels. Now we're going to take a few wrist circles, really warming up our wrists for crow pose. So I'm going to fist your hands and circle them inward and then outward. And then shake that all out. You're going to flip your palms up, flex your hands so your fingertips are coming back towards you, placing them on the mat. And shifting forward and back so we stretch out that underneath side of our wrists. This is really important when we're doing any sort of arm balances, that we really warm up the wrists so we prevent any injuries that might happen. Release that. Now flip your palms down, flex your fingertips back towards you, and press them down into the mat gently, stretching the top side of our wrists now. And release that. We'll do a few shoulder stretches. So we're going to come into eagle. So I will face you. Reach both arms out to the side. Sweep your right arm underneath your left, crossing at the elbow, continuing that spiral up to your hands. And if they don't meet, you can simply touch the back side of your wrists together. Or if you want, you can take a strap in between both hands and hold there until you can come together. On inhale, we'll reach our palms up to the sky. Exhale, stay there. This is one of my favorite poses to do because it really stretches my upper shoulders, which tend to get very tight. Inhale, release that, shake it out. Go ahead and take a few presses just to open up that chest again. Reach your arms back out to the side, this time sweeping our left arm underneath, crossing out the elbows. Continuing that spiral up to our hands. Inhale, reach your hands up to the sky. Exhale, stay there. And release that. Do a few chest presses, just open up our chest again. And now we're going to continue to warm up our arms. So coming into plank pose, go ahead and drop your knees down right where you are. We're going to do a few chaturanga push-ups. So shifting forward onto our wrist, tucking your elbows into the sides, lowering down and pressing back up. Lowering down and pressing back up. Keep going. This really works your triceps and your back, which is what we need to hold crow pose. One more. And shifting back into child's pose. Take a prayer position with your hands, resting your elbows down on the mat, lifting your hands up, your palms up behind your head. You should stretch out your triceps and possibly the middle of your upper back, right in between your shoulder blades. And release that. Now, one last thing before we get to crow pose. Go ahead and tuck your toes, shift your hips up, walk your feet to the outside corners of your mat, angling your feet out slightly, lowering your hips all the way down into Malasana or yogi squat. Now, if you're comfortable here, you can bring your hands to your heart center in a prayer position. If you need, you can put a blanket underneath your heels. If you have tight calves or tight Achilles, that will help. Or you can rest a block underneath your seat for you to rest on. And we'll hold here. This really opens up your hips and your lower back. I used to be awful at this pose, but the more I practiced, the better I got. And now it's one of my favorite. Take a few breaths here. Really pressing your knees open with your elbows. Reaching your chest up. And release that. Plant your hands down right in front of you, about shoulder width apart. Shift your hips up. Turn your feet in. Coming down into a squat position. I like to come up onto my toes for this. I hug my knees into my triceps. Shift my weight forward. Gaze goes slightly in front of my fingers. And we lift one foot off and the other, really squeezing our core, coming into crow pose. Hold here as long as you like. When you're ready to come out, simply rock back. If this is new for you and you're a little worried about falling forward, you can always put a pillow right here in case any face plants happen. So if you'd like to try again, plant your hands down into your mat, shift your hips up, coming onto your toes, hugging your knees into the outside of your triceps, shifting your weight forward onto your wrists, really pressing down, lifting both feet up, really squeezing that core together. When you're ready to come out, just simply rock back. And we'll plant our knees down, walking our hands forward, stretching our feet out, coming into cobra pose, a good counter pose to crow. Take an inhale here. Exhale, shift back, tuck your toes, coming into downward facing dog. Inhale here. And exhale. Lift your right leg up, stretching it out, shifting into pigeon pose. So our right knee comes in between our hands, and we can parallel this front shin to the front side of our mat if that is comfortable. And if not, you can just leave it bent however you would like, however is comfortable for your body. If you are paralleling that shin to the front edge of your mat, make sure you flex your foot to keep your knee safe. Really make sure that this back hip is dropped down and our leg is parallel. Take an inhale, lift up. Exhale. Shift your chest forward onto that front leg, making a bed with your hands, stacking your palms on top of each other. And resting your forehead onto your hands. We'll take quite a few breaths here. One last deep inhale. And exhale. On an inhale, press into the palms of your hands, lift your chest, let your hands down, tuck your back toes, coming up into three-legged downward facing dog. Shake that hip out, bend your knee, open up your hip, do whatever you need, and come back into downward facing dog. This time, lift your left leg up and tucking it in through to meet your hands. Coming into pigeon toes on the left. Again, paralleling that shin if that's comfortable for you, making sure you're flexing that front foot. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come forward into sleeping pigeon pose. Stacking your palms on top of each other like we did before. Resting your forehead on top of your palms. And continuing to breathe here. Pressing into your palms, lifting your chest up, tucking your back toes, shifting back into three-legged downward facing dog. Shake out that hip, bending your knee, opening up your hip, doing whatever you need, and releasing that down to the ground. Now, gaze towards the front of your mat, lift up onto your back toes, bend your knees, hop forward to meet your feet to your hands, and simply lower down onto your seat and all the way down onto your back. We'll come up into bridge pose, planting your feet as close to your sit bones as you can, pressing your arms into the mat, pressing your feet into the mat. Lift your hips up, squeezing your glutes. And if you're comfortable here, you can stay here. If you would like, you can take this into full wheel. So bringing your palms by your ears, pressing into them, pressing into your feet, lifting your hips up, and your back off the mat, coming into full wheel. Feel free to shift forward and back, however you would like. You can walk your feet in, really pressing through both feet and both hands, lifting your chest up to the sky, your hips up to the sky. Taking a breath here. And lowering down, tucking our chin to our chest, lowering onto our upper back, bringing our feet out from underneath us. Now hug your knees into your chest, rocking from side to side, massaging out your lower back. And we'll come into happy baby. Flex your feet, reach your hands to the outside edges of your feet, bringing your knees into your elbows. Your knees into your armpits. Really trying to reach that tailbone into the mat so that you're not tucking, but that your tailbone is pressing into the mat. Breathing here. You can extend one leg and the other, or both, whatever feels comfortable for you. Rocking from side to side. Really, this is your time. You can do whatever you wish. Taking one more breath. Exhale, release that, hugging your knees into your chest. And releasing your left leg down, keeping your right leg hugged into your chest. And crossing it over your body to the left side, letting it fall across. Reaching your right arm out into a T position. Gaze goes over to the right past your fingertips. Trying to keep that right shoulder onto the mat. Taking a few inhales and exhales here. And coming back to center, crossing your right ankle over your left knee, reaching through, clasping your hands over your shin or underneath your thigh if that's comfortable for you, flexing that right foot. Inhale, and then exhale. Pull your knees closer to your chest. And again, rock from side to side. You can kind of find that sticking point where you're most tight in that right glute. For me, I always have to shift over to the opposite side of the leg that's being stretched. And that's where I find it. Inhale. Exhale, pull your knees closer to your chest. And release that. Release your right leg down to the mat, keeping your left knee hugged into your chest. And crossing it all over your body. Reaching your left hand out into a T position. Coming into a spinal twist. Taking a few inhales and exhales here. And when you're ready, come back to center, crossing that left ankle across your right knee, reaching your palms through, clasping either behind your thigh or over your shin, never on your knee. Inhale, exhale, pull everything closer to your body, continuing to reach that tailbone down into the mat. And again, move around and find that sticking point for you. Could be different on this side. And when you're ready, release that. Bring your feet down onto the mat, letting your knees fall open to the side and your bottoms of your feet come together. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle pose. And we'll release and relax here. If you want, you can take one hand on top of your belly and one hand on top of your heart. And we'll bring our focus back onto our breath once again. And we'll remind ourselves of the mantra that we started with. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am breathing. Reminding ourselves of the present moment, not dwelling on the past, not thinking about the future. Simply being in this moment, the here and now. Because as we all know, this moment is fleeting, it will pass. No matter how great or terrible it is, it won't last forever. It does not do us any good to dwell on our past mistakes. What will do us good is to learn from those and to move forward with grace. But not to worry about the future, because we don't know what the future holds. For all we know, we could win the lottery tomorrow. Or something bad may happen tomorrow. But that we don't know. All we know is what is right now. What we are feeling right now. What we are hearing, seeing, smelling, or maybe tasting. Breathe in, I am here. Breathe out, I am breathing. If you ever find yourself dwelling on the past or anxious about the future, start to focus on your breath. Taking deep, long inhales and exhales. Feeling your center, rise and fall with your hand is on top of your belly. Feel your heartbeat with your other hand if you chose to place it on top of your chest. The rise and fall of your breathing and the beating of your heart mean that you're alive. You're here in this moment. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am breathing. Bring your hands to the outside edges of your thighs. Bring your knees back to the center. Hug your knees into your chest. Rocking from side to side, releasing any tension in your lower back. Inhale here. Exhale. Roll onto your favorite side, right or left. Pausing here for a moment. And when you're ready, press into your top arm, coming up into an easy seated position, keeping your eyes closed or softened if you'd like. Reaching our palms up to the sky, meeting at the top. Pulling our hands through to our heart center. Taking a moment here to thank ourselves for our practice today. To remind ourselves that we are here and we are breathing. And if you ever need a moment, tune into your breath. I thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you found that crow pose was difficult for you and that you may need a little bit more core engagement, feel free to follow along with me in my mini core flow. I'll link it in the description below. This will really help you to increase your core strength and stability so that it is easier for you to do arm poses and balance poses such as crow. My mini core strength flow is just a small preview of my Yoga for Dancers strength and flexibility course that will be coming soon, but I do have a lot of work to do on it before I can make it available for you all. So subscribe to my YouTube channel because I will be posting little previews such as my core strength flow on here so that you can get a feel for what the program will be like. If you would like to connect with me through other social media forms, I am on Instagram, and I also have a website, and I send out a newsletter every other week that includes flows such as this one, free recipes, and blog posts. So if you're interested in that, the link to sign up is in the description below. Thank you again for practicing with me today. Have a great week, everyone.